Hi everyone, and welcome to Global Business Evolution, where we talk about the trends, happenings, and practices in business today. I am Tani, the CEO of Human Capital Matters, an international management consulting, strategy, and human resources firm. We deal with everything from strategy development, leadership matters, online learning, and recruitment, to name a few things. To find out more about what we do, click on the link below. I will be sharing some tools, tips, and insights that will help you in the world of business. So, like and subscribe to my channel for all the latest happenings in the business world. Today, we'll be talking about: have you ever been in a situation where you feel that you are deceiving your friends and colleagues and that they will soon realize that you are a fraud? Do you feel that you do not actually deserve your job or your accomplishments? Do you downplay compliments and positive feedback? Do you think that other people know so much more than you? If so, you are not alone. You have imposter syndrome, or what psychologists call the imposter phenomenon. You are unable to internalize and own your own success. Imposter syndrome is when you doubt your abilities and feel like a fraud. You question if you are deserving of your accolades, and your feelings of incompetence persist despite your education, experience, and accomplishments. There is a conflict between your own self-perception and the ways others perceive you. When people praise you or recognize your work, you attribute your success to being in the right place at the right time and simply being just lucky. To counter these feelings, you work harder and hold yourself to ever higher standards in order to feel worthy of the role that you're in, to prevent people from discovering your shortcomings, to make up for your perceived incompetence and lack of intelligence, and to help you handle the guilt that you feel for deceiving or tricking the people around you. You know, at one time it was thought that only women struggled with this, but research has not only shown that people from all walks of life can get this, but also that it affects over 70% of people at some point in their lives. The irony is that the people generally affected are actually high-achieving individuals who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments. While there are no specific reasons as to why some catch this and others do not, it is typically due to either personality, behavioral, or environmental traits. If you're an anxious person or a perfectionist, perhaps as a child you were always made to feel that whatever you did was not good enough, or perhaps you were discriminated in some way such that you were made to feel inadequate. Whatever the reasons might be, and you can read up more on the why, the underlying thought process is that in order to be loved, included, wanted, to feel like you belong, that others think well of you, you need to achieve. Does any of this sound familiar or resonate with you? Dr. Valerie Young describes 5 main types of imposters in her 2011 book, The Secret Thoughts of Successful Women: Why Capable People Suffer from Imposter Syndrome and How to Thrive in Spite of It. Do yourself a favor and grab a copy of it. As a perfectionist, you set extremely high expectations for yourself, and even if you meet 99% of your goals, you feel like a failure for not attaining that 1%. You cannot meet the standards that you have set for yourself, and any small mistake will make you question your own competence. Instead of acknowledging the hard work you've put in after completing a task, you criticize yourself for every little mistake and feel ashamed of what you have perceived to be a failing. You might even avoid trying new things if you believe you cannot do them perfectly the first time. Now that is what it means to be the perfectionist. Now, as a natural genius, you are used to picking up new skills with little effort. You believe that you should understand new material and processes right away. You believe that competent people can handle anything with little or no difficulty, and therefore if you struggle or have to work hard at something or fail at your first attempt, you see this as proof that you're not good enough, that you're an imposter, and you might feel ashamed and embarrassed. If you are a soloist, you feel you should be able to handle everything on your own, and if you cannot, you consider yourself to be unworthy. You find it hard to ask for help, but as asking someone for help or accepting support when it's offered doesn't just mean failing your own standards, it also means admitting to your inadequacies and showing that you are a failure. If you're an expert, you feel the need to know every piece of information before you can start a project or piece of work, and will not contribute to a discussion unless you feel you know everything there is to know. You are hesitant to even ask a question because you're afraid of looking stupid if you don't already know the answer. You might not even apply for a job if you do not meet all the criteria asked for. Since you believe you should have all the answers, you might consider yourself a fraud or failure when you cannot answer a question or don't meet all the criteria that they ask for. As a superhero, you push yourself to work harder than those around you to prove that you're not an imposter. To you, being competent means that you must succeed in everything that you do and in every role that you hold, leader, friend, mother, partner, etc. If you cannot successfully meet the needs and demands of all the roles that you hold, then this, in your opinion, proves that you are inadequate and a fraud. To succeed, you push yourself to the limit, but even then you probably feel that you should be able to do more or that this should be easier. As clearly illustrated in my story, you can be more than one type of imposter. So, how do you go from seeing a cat in the mirror to seeing the strong, accomplished, and capable person that you are? How did I do it? And continue to do it when it still at times rears its ugly head, which it tends to do if you're having a really bad day, if you're exhausted and just feeling a little sorry for yourself. If you feel like a fraud, working harder to do better won't necessarily do much to change your self-image. Here are some things that help me to resolve my imposter feelings in a more productive way. One of the first steps to overcoming imposter feelings is to acknowledge the thoughts and put them in perspective. Talk to a trusted friend or mentor about your feelings, as this can give you some outside context on the situation. Share your feelings, as this can help to make them less overwhelming. Open up to your peers, friends, and colleagues, as this will not only encourage them to do the same, it will also help you to realize you aren't the only one who feels like an imposter. Try not to give in to the urge of doing everything yourself. Instead, build connections. Turn to peers, friends, and colleagues to create a network of mutual support. Being in a leadership role in particular, you do have to be careful who you share your vulnerabilities with. But you can build a tribe, a circle of trusted friends and colleagues who can serve as your mirror and to whom you can be honest about your feelings. Remember that saying, no man or woman is an island. You do not have to achieve everything alone. Your trusted network will give you guidance and support, reiterate and validate your strengths, offer encouragement and support your efforts to grow and develop yourself. You're not the only one that feels this way, and you are not the only one that has been afraid or embarrassed to talk about your feelings of inadequacy. But keeping it quiet not only does not help you, it reinforces the belief that this is some sort of shameful secret. If over 70% of people feel this way at some time or other in their lives, and research shows the number is actually much higher than that, then it's not such a secret and you're in good company. Share your feelings, as it will help others in the same position feel less alone. It will also help you to create opportunities for brainstorming and sharing strategies to overcome these feelings. I had a few trusted people that I would talk to and who would serve as my mirror when my view of myself was not at its best. I could trust them to tell me the truth, good or bad, i.e., whether there was an opportunity for development. Be someone's mirror and they can be yours. Challenge your doubts. If someone came to you and said that they did not think that you were on the right track, you would ask them why they felt that way, right? You would ask them to give you the reasons and then would see if there was any facts to support what they were saying. So when those imposter feelings rear their ugly head, get into the habit of asking yourself what the reasons are for you to feel this way and whether there are actually any facts to support these beliefs. Since you tend to be hard on yourself, your mind might come up with some facts as you see them. So when this happens, look for evidence to counter those facts. Years ago, I was given an incredible opportunity to implement a process that would result in a culture change in the company that I worked at. I didn't know it at the time, but years later, I was able to pinpoint that opportunity as a major stepping stone in my career. I almost turned it down because I was convinced that I could not do it. The voices in my head kept bringing up instances where I had made mistakes, and I was sure that the people telling me that I could do it didn't know what they were talking about or were simply trying to boost my fragile ego. I wrote down the reasons why I thought I couldn't do it, and for each reason, I gave a counter argument for why I could do it. Then I listed all the mistakes I had made that I thought were relevant to the situation. And while these facts are facts, and I had made those mistakes, I also realized that in many of those situations, I had successfully come up with solutions to fix the mistakes and had put things in place to ensure that I would not make the same mistake twice. Here's a rather silly example. Remember that mine I spoke about? I was tasked to put the mine's first ever diversity plan in place. I had to give actual numbers of people against a set categories and fill a table on a Word document. I made a mistake in my totals with all the large numbers involved. Well, let's just say that maths was never my strong point. I eventually got it right by creating an Excel spreadsheet and putting in formulas to help me calculate and total up. The lesson I learned, besides the fact that maths wasn't my strong point, I did not need to do everything myself and that I could use tools to bolster my developmental areas. I also became a whiz on Excel. I also thought about the people that I was certain I was fooling into thinking I knew what I was doing. I thought about who they were, whether they were competent, intelligent people, and whether I respected them or not. If they were competent and intelligent, I would have to be incredibly smart in order to fool them. And if I was that smart, then the chances were that I could actually do the project. If they were competent and intelligent, then maybe there was some truth to what they were telling me. I also realized that fooling all of my colleagues all of the time would be rather difficult, and poor work would never go unnoticed long term. So if you consistently receive encouragement and recognition, that's a good sign that you're doing the right things. Remember that comparison is the thief of joy. Avoid comparing yourself to others. We are all unique individuals and have unique abilities. You are where you are because someone recognized your talents, hard work, and potential. You may not be good at everything and you may not excel in everything that you do. But here's the thing, why do you have to? Very few people can do it all. Even someone who looks like they have everything under control, you're only seeing what they want you to see. It's rather like the tip of the iceberg. The full story is beneath the surface. It's okay to need a little time to learn a new skill. Even if someone else seems to grasp that skill immediately, chances are that you grasp something else very quickly that has taken someone else some time to learn. As women, we tend to be especially hard on ourselves. We are our own biggest critic, and society doesn't help as we are constantly bombarded with impossible images or standards. We are never as thin or as beautiful or as smart as someone else. If you have straight hair, you yearn to have curly hair. I recall going on a team build with a group of colleagues, one of whom was a statuesque lady, tall and built like an Amazon. She was utterly gorgeous and the complete opposite of me. As we were putting on our gear, she suddenly exclaimed, "Oh gosh, Tani, I would give anything to be as petite as you." Having a background in psychology and human resources, I have always found people, relationships, and behavior to be relatively easy to navigate. I've never given it much thought. The one time I remember a colleague, an engineer whom I admired and thought was brilliant, talking to me about their struggle in having a difficult conversation with somebody, I was stunned. I was stunned that he found it difficult to do so, and even more so when he said to me, "Tani, you make it look so easy." It was easy for me, but I couldn't do what he could do. Most people experience moments of doubt, and that's normal. The important part is not to let that doubt control your actions. It's natural to have moments of self-doubt every now and then. It's only when it becomes debilitating that you need to address it. Remember that an imposter moment is very different from having an imposter life. I hope you enjoyed that. I tried to distill my many years of experience into bite-sized chunks. Needless to say, the learning never ends, and therefore there is so much more to this topic. I hope that you will join me to explore these topics further. Leave a comment and let me know what else you'd like to learn about. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel.